Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. That'll let you know when we have new content. If the video helps, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and comment down below. Today we're working on a vehicle, beautiful Nardo grayish looking BMW, and it has a hideous gouge and deep scratch on the back of the vehicle. And I'm going to show you how the Turtle Wax Scratch Repair Kit resin within that kit, which is basically just faux clear coat, helps me to, gets an assist when it helps me make these hideous scratches look a whole lot better, and sometimes almost hard to spot unless you're at the perfect angle. There are two ways that I go about this process when it comes to deeper scratches, and this scratch scraped away clear coat and is down into the color coat. It didn't go any further into the primer, but it's into the color coat. So there are two ways that we can make this scratch look, be barely recognizable. You'd have to be at the perfect angle with the perfect amount of natural light to see it. So I'll tell you two ways that we can get there. The first way is going to be quick and easy, in and out of the shop. The second way, you're going to have the car stay overnight, about 24 hours. If you're doing this for yourself, that's no problem. If you are doing this for a customer, cost will come into consideration, and you'll have to charge accordingly. The first thing we want to do here, though, is properly wash the vehicle, get it clean, and completely dried. While I'm drying this, the clear coat repair resins in this kit, you don't have to use this one. The video isn't about this particular one. It's about the concept. There are others available now. You can do your own homework and find them. When a scratch is looked at up close or microscopically, it reminds me of something we have local here called Crystal Cave. It's a cave full of stalactites and stalagmites, and if the sun would come out and bounce off of them, it refracts off of the edges of those stones, and the refracted light just makes it look absolutely luminous. And that's what it does to a scratch, and that's how a scratch looks so bad and really grabs your attention when you're walking by. Now that the surface is clean, I could use my instruments to see and gauge how thick the surface is that we're working on. It's a little bit thinner than the surrounding panels, so we do have to now take that into consideration. I'm going to start off by grabbing a sheet of 2000 grit and wrap it around a block that I prefer for these size of scratches, and I'll run it with the scratch and then across the scratch in two different directions. And I'm going to sand until I see that white milky substance running down the side of the car, and that's why I like to use water and wet sand so I can see that. And that is clear coat, so we're now shaving clear coat. Once you do see that, and if you're not comfortable with wet sanding, you can stop there and clean it off, wipe it off, dry it, and take a look and see if that's as far as you want to go. A great way to gauge how far you are sanding is to take a look at the texture before you start. And if you see that texture flattening out to just a perfectly smooth area or section, it's probably time to stop. You're getting thin. This is what it looks like after that step, and I did have to sand quite a bit, and it did flatten out the texture. And you can still see the scratch, of course, because it's through the clear coat down into the colored coat. But we have now rounded off all those jagged edges, which will by itself make the scratch look a little less hideous. But we have to do some blending first. You can't just sand in one area, change the texture, and then hope that it's not too noticeable. If you blend, it's going to help it seem a lot less noticeable. So I'll blend the area in by stepping down from 2000 grit to 3000 grit sandpaper, and then sand a larger area by about 2 or 3 inches than we did with the 2000 grit, and that's how you blend it in. And then to finish it off, and at the same time blend it in a little bit further, we're going to polish. And we'll use the Oberk Soleil and a polish pad. And the area we polish is, of course, going to be probably about 4 or 5 inches larger than the area we worked. And again, that helps to blend it in even further. So in some cases, when I only have the vehicle for, an hour or two or the afternoon, this is going to be it. We're going to use a panel prep and we're going to protect it from here. And the owner, well, most owners would be more than happy to have that type of improvement. However, every once in a while, I have the luxury of being able to keep the car a little bit longer. So we're going to break out the Turtle Wax Scratch Repair Kit. And within that kit, what I use is the resin within that little vial. Absolutely fantastic to help fill scratches. You fold one of their cloths in 2s or 3s, and we make a little bit of a square out of it, and that's how we just dump the resin onto the cloth and spread it out from there. Spread it out about 1 inch or 2 wider than the affected area, if that makes sense. This would need to cure for about 12 to 24 hours before we get on to the next step. When it is fully cured after that window of time, it self-levels, yes, but you can still tell where you apply the product. So you have to blend it in. And we're going to do a little bit of wet sanding for that as well. And we'll use 3000 grit to blend it in and smooth it out even further. And then, of course, the wet sand marks have to be polished out from there. At this point, there is only one way to get it to look better, and that is to have a body shop sand it down flat and respray. This is going to be the best bet when that is out of the question. So I'll show the results here. We'll back it out into the shade outside, and then we'll get it into direct sunlight. And you would have to be at the perfect angle with the perfect amount of light to see it, and is a huge difference. And now in direct sunlight. And this improvement was made doing two things: rounding off the jagged edges within the scratch, and then also burying them with the resin as a second step. If you want to stop at the first step, you're still going to see huge gains in your results. The second step only makes it better with the help of the resins from the Turtle Wax kit. From here, clean it up, prep it, protect it. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.